Hello friends, in this video we are going to solve previous year's questions of English literature. Let us enjoy the English literature. Here is the first question. Dr. Faustus wanted Mephistopheles to appear in the guise of? Answer is a Franciscan friar. We all know that Christopher Marlowe's play Dr. Faustus probably written in 1592 or 1593. Here, in this particular incident, the main character, Dr. Faustus, tells Mephistopheles that he is too ugly and he demands that Mephistopheles disappear and return in the shape of a Franciscan friar. Henry Vaughan's poem The Retreat expresses a desire to return to the days of infancy. The Retreat is a poem by the 17th century Welsh metaphysical poet Henry Vaughan. In this poem, he mouths the laws of his innocent childhood. Also, he longs to return to a time when he was pure and close to God, who considered the existence of a built-in language acquisition device in human beings. LAD is none other than our prominent linguist, Noam Chomsky. He introduced the concept of LAD as part of his theory of universal grammar. Noam Chomsky suggested that our brains come equipped with something called a language acquisition device, LAD. This is like a built-in tool that helps babies learn language super quickly when they are very young. This idea means that we don't need to be taught every little detail of language. Instead, we have a natural ability to figure out how language works, and that makes learning languages easier when we are young. The architect who constructed Pandemonium in Book 1 of Paradise Lost is Mulciber. In John Milton's epic poem Paradise Lost, Pandemonium is the capital city of hell, and it is constructed by the fallen angels after they are expelled from heaven. Pandemonium is described as a grand and impressive palace in hell, where Satan and his fellow rebel angels gather to hold council and plan their further actions. Mulciber is one of the fallen angels, and he is the one who designs and constructs this pandemonium. Bring the odd one out. Among these works, Magnificence is odd one. Now, Four P's, The Play of the Weather, Fulgens and Lucrece, all three are examples of medieval and early Renaissance English drama and theatre. They belong to a genre of dramatic works known as morality plays or interludes. Here, Magnificence is a bit different because it's a more of a clever and critical poem written by John Skelton, a 16th century English playwright. These hills called home, stories from a war zone. The hills are those of Northeast India. This collection of 10 stories by Temsla Ao is about the Naga people in northeastern India who have been fighting for an independent Nagaland for a long time. These stories show how ordinary people deal with violence, power struggles, etc. And especially this region has experienced conflicts and tensions, and this book likely focuses on stories related to the challenges faced by the people who living in the hill areas of northeast India. These hills called home, stories from a war zone by Temsla Ao. In which of the following methods do we move from specific situations to general situations? Answer is inductive method. We already called this inductive method as known to unknown, examples to rule. It moves from what is known as examples to the what is unknown. Unknown is rules. Inductive method starts with specific examples and then draws a general conclusions from them. In other words, inductive method is a way of figuring out the things by looking at specific examples and finding patterns in them. In which of the following plays does Shakespeare employ the use of mask? Answer is both B and C. Shakespeare employs the use of mask in both the plays A Midsummer Night's Dream and The Tempest. In A Midsummer Night's Dream, Shakespeare incorporates a mask-like scene in Act 5 during the wedding celebration of Duke Theseus and Queen Hippolyta. In another play, The Tempest, Shakespeare includes a more elaborate mask in Act 4, which is distinct from the rest of the play. The character Prospero, who possesses magical powers, creates this mask as a form of entertainment for the characters on the island. So, in both the plays, these masks are like extra shows within the main story and they add fun and meaning to the plays. Horace lived during the time of Emperor Augustus. Horace, the Roman poet, born in 65 BCE and died in 8 BCE. Horace is mostly associated with the reign of Emperor Augustus, and his poetry often reflected the events and values of that era. Horace's Ars Poetica is a famous work of Roman poetry. Ars Poetica has been very influential in the study of literary criticism and remains a valuable resource for understanding the aesthetics of poetry. In Longinus' idea of the sublime, mimesis means imitation of the classical poets of excellence. Longinus was an ancient Greek literary critic and philosopher, known for his work titled as On the Sublime. In this work, Longinus explored the concept of the sublime in literature and rhetoric. And the term mimesis means imitation. Longinus believed that one way to achieve greatness in your writing and to achieve the sublime was to imitate the works of classical poets who were considered excellent and masterful. Thank you, friends. All the very best to you.